Hello, everyone. Whoa. Hi, everyone. Hello. Okay. So, jobs. So I work freelance in film and video production, and a lot of my jobs usually on set, working on crews, things like that. But one time I got asked to do something a little bit different. I got asked to help facilitate a panel discussion with Sigourney Weaver. And the idea was that they were having a retrospective of her work at the Prince Music Theater. And me and several other people were asked to put together a panel discussion. And the job was that they would assign each of us one of her films. And then we had to come up with questions to ask her on the panel about her films and help lead the discussion that would ensue. And so I remember I was very excited about this. Like, oh, Sigourney Weaver's great. That's wonderful. And this is going to be a great time. And there's a funny thing about Sigourney Weaver's name. It carries a certain amount of weight. And there's a funny thing I noticed between me and the other panelists that was very unspoken. But there were two very distinct points about Sigourney Weaver that we all just understood immediately without discussing. One, Sigourney Weaver is known for taking parts that are very strong, confident, courageous women that tend to, defy stereotypes and be out there. She's very much known for this, and the idea was that she obviously thinks a lot about gender theory and has a lot to say about the role of sexism and different things in society. And we're all very conscious of this. Number two was that Sigourney Weaver is very smart. I'm not sure why we know this, but we all knew this to be a complete fact. And there was this unspoken kind of competition that almost arose from all of us when we were talking about what we were going to do is, who can ask Sigourney Weaver the smartest question on the panel? Who can make Sigourney Weaver think they are as smart as we all know that she is? And so they asked everybody what movie they wanted to do, and I was like, well, you can give me all the movies on the list. I've seen most of them, except, believe it or not, the Alien movies. I'd actually seen none of the Alien movies. I know, that's crazy. So I was like, just you can give me whatever you want, but I haven't seen those, so you should probably give them to somebody else. The organizer, this isn't funny, but the organizer, I found out, was actually a closet alcoholic, and came around later on and was like, we gave you the Alien movies because they said that you were your favorite, and we all knew that that's what you wanted. Okay? And I was like, I'm not going to say what I know about you, so I will just accept it gracefully, and I will continue. So I went and got the whole box set of all the Alien movies, and I ended up watching them straight through in one very long sitting, and I got really into it. I was like, oh my god, these movies are so deep. I had no idea. This is cinematic art at its highest pinnacle. They are saying so much about the role of gender in society and its fluidity within our technological culture. And oh my god, between all the movies, it's like the aliens are like this third sex, this third gender that like erupts through like from number 1 to number 4. Like these are genius. And I was getting really excited about myself. I was like, I'm gonna blow this out of the water. I am going to ask Sigourney Weaver the smartest question she has ever heard about space aliens in a movie, ever. And so we all show up at the panel, and me and the other panelists are kind of like not really saying what our questions are going to be. We don't want to like break it to each other, but we're kind of hinting each other like, oh yeah, what's about this and what about that. And one of them actually brought this book called Gender in Film with Sigourney Weaver on the cover with a machine gun, and we're all very excited. So we all sit down, she sits down, and I'm first. I'm the first one on the panel to go. And I cue up a scene from Aliens, the second Alien movie. And it's a scene where they have these giant robot suits, these big yellow suits that they put on, and they can move big machines and do things. And I showed this clip, and I was just like, what do these suits tell us about the fluidity of gender identity? And I asked this like long, complicated, like 5-part question, all about this and that, and how persuasive gender identity and how fluid it is. And I asked her this question, and when I'm finally done getting the question out, there's a pause. I look at her. Everybody in the audience, you can tell, is excited to hear her answer because they obviously think the same thing that we all think about Sigourney Weaver. We look at her, there's a pause, and then she goes, what's a gender identity? And there was just this tense silence in the room. Everybody was just like, she doesn't know. And I was just blown away. I was like, how do I possibly, respond to this? And she could tell, like, got really, really tense, and she goes, She's trying to recover, and she goes, well, right, I'm a woman, and sometimes in my movies, I do things that men would do. And at that point, all the other panelists just changed their questions. One of the questions actually was, what's your favorite color? So that was it. When it was over, Sigourney Weaver, I actually felt very bad for her because she was very nice, and she came up to me at the end and she goes, I'm sorry, I didn't know what a gender identity was. I was like, it's okay, Sigourney Weaver, you're Sigourney Weaver. And you're doing pretty well, so I think you're doing all right. Thank you very much.